Hello, everybody. Dumelang. Welcome back to yet another episode of Blooming But I Fly. Thank you so much for subscribing. You guys who are still a bit ambivalent, right down there, click subscribe. Thank you for being so interactive in the comments and giving us feedback. We really enjoy your guys' feedback. Today's guest. I say this about every guest, nah? I'm always excited because I actually am very excited about everybody that comes here.
That's so awesome.
Welcome. Today we have Lesego Khoza in the building. That is such a U-tone, so gentle, so calm. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming.
For having me.
Yeah, man. I've been waiting for this one for a long time.
Me too.
Because you were so gracious. I was like, yo, I have to get this lady on.
That's awesome.
So before we get into it, let me put some respect on our guest, as we usually do. Lesego Khoza, as you guys might know, is an actress, a YouTuber, an influencer, a wife, and a mom.
Yes.
And you may have seen her in shows like The Queen, Bold, drama series called Grow, How to Ruin Christmas, Sipiri High, Isono, Unfaithful, or Justice Served. So many things. Tiny Tokolos in theater, The Little Prince.
Oh.
Now I like hyping up people because people must know what the people that come here do, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I was like reading up on all, the work you've done.
Wow.
And I was like, actually, this lady has done quite a lot.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time in this industry, actually.
Yeah,
for you.
it's been a really long time. And also, I don't know if your research, when it comes as Lesego Khoza, that would have been the 3 years.
Yes.
There's still the Lesego Chabe.
Yes.
Has its own life as well. So
You've been.
Yeah.
And, I learned a few things about you, actually, as I was reading up. Because I was very mindful. Some of the interviews you've done, especially recently, often focus on Khoza. Nah? It's actually one of my questions. And I was like, no, man, this woman actually is a brand on her own. And she's actually well achieved on her own.
Yeah.
Do you find that actually people have bracketed you as Bonko Khoza's wife? Or do you find that people, be it your supporters or the industry itself, have an actual acknowledgement and respect for your work and what you do in this field?
You know what? I feel like people see what is happening now.
Okay.
So I'm a Khoza right now.
Right.
And my husband is so popular right now.
Right now, it's his
So
time.
even if I do gymnastics,
Yes.
it won't, and it would seem as if I'm competing. And I don't want to compete.
I don't get okay.
So what I'm saying is, if I go, no, Lesego, the brand.
Okay.
I'm me. Separate me from my husband.
Yeah.
That's me saying I will be doing gymnastics so that solely me.
Right.
But I'm at a phase in my life where I'm Bonko Khoza's wife.
Got you.
And I'm known as Bonko Khoza's wife.
Right.
It's doing other things on the side for me.
Okay.
But known publicly, it's just like, oh, does it feel to be Bonko Khoza's wife? And me, I'm okay with that because like we at a time where it's my husband's time. God said it's time for him to shine.
Yeah.
Knowing very well that I have shined before. And I'm
Yes,
still
actually.
going to shine.
Yes.
And when that time comes, I don't think Bonko would also want to compete with my
Actually,
shine.
you guys aren't competitive.
No.
When he came, you guys came together.
Yeah.
And I got to interact with you guys together, but also just in your public sphere, you guys are very supportive of one another.
Yeah.
You've said this in interviews before, like, no, I'm not competing. It's his time. And the security in you as an individual is the sense that I get. I suppose for me, it was just something that I noticed because I have such a respect for you. And I suppose having interacted with you, then you do get a true sense of the individuals.
Yes.
You're not, you are Bonko Khoza's wife.
Yeah.
But actually, Lesego Khoza.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And these are big productions that you've actually been in.
Yeah. Yo, no, I've done very well.
Yeah.
I've done so well. And I think sometimes I did like bits and pieces of like big things as well. Like, you know, I got to be a little on Isono, I got to be a little on The Queen, I got to be a little on Justice. These are shows that have done exceptionally well, you know, in their own right.
Yeah.
So I've done stuff, you know, we did an interview this year still, and a few months ago, I'd say, and my husband was like, yo, guys, you know that Lesego had a whole career before she became Mrs. Khoza. Like, Lesego used to tour with shows nationwide. She has been nominated and won a few awards in her right in the theatre space. And I've had to be that husband for a few years. There was a point where I had an event and they were honoring 40 actors who have been on, who have graced the Market Theatre stages, which is me. And I was amongst...
You were big in theatre.
I was big in theatre, and I was amongst the most amazing people. And he went to go receive the plug for me, and because I was on tour and I couldn't go myself. So we've had a taste also of like what it's like for Lesego to also be in the spotlight, to also know that, listen to, you know, we can interchange. This is your turn, then maybe next time is my turn. I realized that we usually take turns with Bonko in our life via our day-to-day, also resulting in the bigger thing.
Okay.
We were even talking, the baby was not with us this weekend, and I woke up and I was like cleaning on Saturday, doing all those things. And I was like, what I love about our relationship is that you can look at one person working their butt off, but never feel like you need to help them or you need to do it with them, because you know very well that today she'll be doing it, but tomorrow it's me. You know, like recently I was shooting a TV movie. I can't say a lot about it, but it's nice. I'm one of the leads, and I was not home for the whole week. Luckily, Bonko was not working that week.
Okay.
Do you see God?
Yes.
Do you see God? He's like, okay, it's her turn to you look after the household. And he looked after the household as if he's there with me every day.
But you guys put out that energy. You know, when you say, do you see God? I think God will answer the prayers that you put out there, which is, can our family life be sustainable? And because you guys are supportive versus competitive, I think then you get the return of, when I'm working, he's available. When he's working, I'm available.
100%.
And I also, you know, get the sense that there might be a time where you both are working, but you guys will be so solid in your structure that everything will be taken care of. Because that's partnership. Yeah.
True.
You guys are partners.
That's so true,
And you guys have been doing it for a long time. I mean, when you guys were studying, that's when you guys got into your relationship. So you've had a lot of practice time in how to do this life thing and be in your industry.
Yes.
And how to be sustainable.
Yes. And I think, you know, that also... God, forgive us. But we lived in sin from a very young age. We literally moved in together when I graduated in 2014.
Yes. I think you guys said in Auckland Park.
Yes, in West Dean.
Yes, West Dean.
Yo, and like it was just the weirdest thing, because like our landlord was my husband's best friend, and he literally let us rent a 3-bedroom house with a cottage and a pool outside to these little kids who don't know what they do. We really did not know what we're doing, but we knew that we were doing it together, so that kind of made it easy for us. And so we in that house, that's where we learned how to not be competitive, but to be partners. That was rough. That house was rough. Like the whole year, that house was very rough. So it was just like we needed to learn.
Because also you learned as friends. You guys are friends first. You guys are actually just best friends. So you don't compete with your best friend. You do life with your best friend. You guys ended up buying that house. So you even learned...
No, not that house. No, not that house. We bought...
In Melville or something.
We bought the... No. We bought the other one in Manchester.
Yes.
In Manchester, yes.
So you even learned like financial and family sustainability just together. It's not like... You guys grew up together.
Yeah, basically.
You adulted together, basically. You know, you didn't find each other in adulthood. You went through adulthood together.
You're so right. You're so right. The other day I was thinking about it and I was like, you know that feeling of when you are 8 or 9 years, 9, 8, 10 years old, and you have this best friend of yours, right? That you always want to sleep at their house. You guys do everything together. Your moms almost even buy you the same clothes because they're just like, you guys love spending time together to the point where even you and your best friend would sit on the couch and not talk for hours doing separate things. But then you guys are that feeling. Think of it in your adulthood. You have that friend that makes you feel like that. Like he makes me feel like when we were kids playing house and I was like so serious washing dishes in my fake house, but like I'm now washing dishes in my real house, like with like my real husband, but it still feels like we're playing house.
Amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very rare these days.
Yeah.
I always say you have to date somebody that likes you. You understand? That actually likes you. Because some people love each other, but they don't like each other.
Hence, I put it at like your friend, that not your cousin that you used to play with, not your sister, not your sibling,
your friend.
your friend, because you liked your friend. Nothing was connecting to you to your friend other than you liking them. Because if tomorrow you don't like your friend, they could literally, you can separate with your friends. But if tomorrow you wake up and you don't like your family, you also can't separate from that, right? But you would be forced to love them, even though you can't even tell them the truth. You're just like, you won't change or whatever. But if you tell your person that actually likes you, that I don't think that thing, then would be like, oh, I want to change for this person that I like so much.
Yeah.
I would say.
So let's talk about Bonka's friend, which is you, right?
Yes.
You are a Soweto girl. You grew up in Soweto and you went to El Dorado Primary, nah?
I went to El Dorado Park. Well, the school was in El Dorado Park and the name was Florida Ave.
Okay. Yes. I want to talk about that little girl, right? Because we know, like you said a few moments ago, the now. What was she like? You know, who would we be observing if we could go back in time? Was she always this creative, this artist, or, you know, what was Lesego Chabedi?
You know, when we take it back to primary school, she didn't have freedom. She didn't have freedom.
Okay.
To speak, to do anything to think outside of herself, to think outside of her circumstances. Okay. She just was a very kept girl.
Okay.
You know, like, and also she didn't think her opinions or anything that she had to say was valid. Yeah, she kept to herself. I think she just didn't think she was something.
And why is that?
I think
what influenced that feeling of being kept? And
I think firstly, I moved schools. So I went to a school called Lutikile, I think just for like grade 1 or 2 or something, just like 2 years or something. And then they moved me to that school. Okay. When I got to that school, firstly, communication. Okay. I did not speak English. Okay. So communication started being hard. Got you. Right? So that means I don't talk as much as I talk at home, or because I can't express myself in this new language that I'm in. I got to that school, I'm now bullied, right? I could get to that school, academic is not that great anymore because like the medium of instruction is English. I don't know what is going on half of the time. So she just was not herself. She couldn't she just didn't feel like she excelled at anything. Everything was just wrong. She can't hear what's going on. Schoolwork is not that great. You know, like it's just like it did not make sense. So that's her. And she got bullied a lot.
For what, if I may ask?
Different things. I went to, the area itself is very chaotic. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we, our transport, if our transport is late and the lady who sells the sweets and whatever packs up and leaves, just know the kids from the neighborhood are going to come with their dogs. They're going to freaking make you run and chase you with their dogs. If it's not them, it's other ones that come with like pilot guns and they make you. It's so weird. I don't know. Did they see that on TV or what? Because they would make us line up like that and start shooting us. And they like, don't run with the pilot guns. So what we did now was that every time it's after school and we see that lady start packing in our transport, we start walking. We just like, we're not going to wait to be terrorized in this neighborhood. What else? School itself, I had this one bully who was just like on my head, and she was in class with me. Every little thing I did, she was just on me all the time.
And this is around age 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. She was like my stable bully from when I got to that school up until grade 7.
Okay.
Stable. Nothing is changing. I know that next year when I go to school, it's exactly the same thing. Yeah.
But you know what I'm noticing? You speaking about that time in your life in third person. She, right? So that tells me that there's something that happened to navigate that lived experience or that time in your life.
Yeah.
Because the person I'm interacting now feels solid, confident person in her own right. So how do we move from the bullying? How do we move from feeling kept, not having trust or confidence in your voice to the person, who's opposite now?
Yeah. So I think for me, what happened is, so we finished primary school. I went to another high school. I went to John Orr, actually. I went to John Orr. I spent... And also, before I went to John Orr, my parents moved from the area they used to stay. So my parents used to stay at Piri.
Okay.
And then they bought a house and we moved to go Dobsonville.
Okay.
When we got to Dobsonville, there was a different neighborhood, almost semi-suburb area. I'd say suburb even because, the kids there also spoke English. Okay. They went to good schools. You don't see anyone during the week. You only see them Fridays.
Weekends,
And when you guys are going to movies, it's a big house. I have my own bedroom. There's just something about it being different. Okay. So it started being different. I'm like, okay, it's different. And then my parents also took me. So my parents then was the divorce. Sort of started the early stages of their separation. Then I went from John Orr to Pace Commercial Secondary in Soweto. When I got to Pace Commercial Secondary, firstly, my academics were better.
Okay.
I spoke the English, so I had the upper hand in the English.
Okay, things now had flipped.
I'm the one who speaks English the entire time now. And also, it wasn't even like, I'm speaking English, so you can see me speaking. It was like, I detached from speaking Tswana, Sotho, whatever, to be better at English, to be better at my academics on the other side. So now I've completely neglected the language. So even on the other side, even though I would have loved to speak Sesotho, Zulu and all of those things, I speak English more than I speak those other languages. So reflex is I'm just going to speak English. So I spoke English and I was the girl who speaks English. And when I got to high school, I was the pretty girl, which I was not. So I don't know, guys were starting to ask me out. Like I was I was not what I was back in the day. School-wise, I did well. Everything was just well. I could be naughty and also I could be the teacher's pet at the same time. So that gave me power. That gave me kind of, I'm a person. I can speak for myself. I can say no. I can say yes.
You blossomed. You blossomed and the transition and change from environment. So is that how then you move and transition into the arts? Like what attracts you to this? Because art is like expressive. Well, how did you then, what makes you go into this field and career?
So I've always been expressive, even when my voice felt like it was. Yeah. I remember dreaming about being in the Cinderella at school, which I couldn't be part of because I was not the most popular and I did not speak the language well. So I couldn't get cast in those things. But I used to ask this teacher of mine, can I sing like...
The Dream Stream Studio in Randburg is a full-service studio on Bromfisher Drive. It's perfectly suited for podcast, music recordings, and general video recordings. Backed up by an experienced editing and production team means you can walk in, record, and walk out knowing that everything will get done as you require. Our mobile gear ensures we can cover your video and live streaming needs on location too. We got the cameras, the lights, and the action to make you and your brand shine. Contact us now, studio@dreamstream.co.za, and we'll make it happen. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
At assembly, because growing up when when we were young in the black family, you go to like the rurals with your grandmother in December, so I used to go to the rurals with my grandma in December, and me and my cousins used to perform at church. Like every Sunday, Christmas carols, it's us.
I feel like every like talented or famous person starts in church. It's like there's something, all the singers, people will say this is where I started, and it's often in church.
Yeah, it is often in church. Yeah, church is the vibe, man. They just allow us to
be.
Yeah. So that performance side has always been there.
Okay.
So I sang once at that school, never again, because apparently I thought I was better now I'm singing at assembly. So I was like, I don't think I'm better. I was just given an opportunity. For myself.
Okay.
I still sing for myself, and I used to like singing in Bonko's music back in the day, but like not as a musician. But yeah, so it started there, and then when I got to high school, obviously they were so drama was your extracurricular don.
Yeah.
And I used to do drama all the time. At Pace though, when I got there was no drama. I remember there was choir. But I was like, okay, it's still performing. I'm still in front of the people doing something. So I joined the choir, and there was a new teacher that joined the school when I was in grade 10, I think. And he was so interested in drama. And I think he was an actor that happened to teach because I think that was his backup career, the teaching. But he was amazing. Mr. Mbata he saw me. He was just like, and when I heard that he's trying to start the drama department, I was like, I'm your girl. So I'm going to help you. We're going to choose a time. We're going to, also do auditions. Okay.
Yes,
let's do auditions to see who's serious about this drama thing.
You were the leader.
I was the leader. When I got there, I was like, my guy, I'm going to lead you and we're going to do this thing. And he also, I think, for me, listened to me a lot. That man listened to me a lot. He listened. I don't want to lie. Anything that I had to suggest. And he was also willing to teach me, because he was not just a drama teacher, but he was somebody that had been working in the industry. So he knew some things. He even brought like an agency. I had an agency at freaking 18. I shot my first ad at 18. So it was just like, I was like, okay, yeah. So God gave me a nod, because like if I could do like a commercial before leaving school, that means that's what I should be leaving school to do.
I've got goosebumps. You know why? I'm having I don't know if it's deja vu, but from the interview I did with Bonko, where he's talking about being a president and a teacher calls his mom and says your child needs to get out of. You guys have a similar trajectory. A teacher sees you and says, actually, you've got something. That is, if that's not alignment in like purpose in general, that is amazing.
Yeah. So that's the teacher that did it for me.
Okay. So then you go and you study and you flourish, and you started in theater.
Yes.
And recently I read somewhere that you said you used to be so passionate and love theater, but you've transitioned into really liking TV productions now. Can you talk me through that shift? And because you did quite a few theater productions.
I did a lot. I did a lot in the theater space. I did a lot in the theater space. I think what happened in the theater space was that because I did my first show in high school.
Okay.
So my teacher, Mr. Mbata, used to do, I forgot they called them school productions, where there's a Zulu book that if you are studying Zulu, you read that book. And now he was like, then he presented it to the schools around our area to say, we'll bring a school play of the book that you guys.
Like a major production type of
100%, so that the kids can understand
the book.
It was called Izinqumo, I think, or something like that. So we to schools with like a bus performing. So I felt like that gave me like a professional kind of foundation.
Yeah.
And that was, I'd say we did that school, I'd say 2008, 2009, 7, those years. So you see, I started so
very,
long ago, very early
yeah,
with the theater. And then I went to Monith Art House.
Almost 2 decades in this industry.
Do you understand?
Almost 2 decades in this industry. My gosh. Okay.
So in my head, I was like, yo, I did theater.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
Like I did. And besides, why did I say I looked at it and I said I did theater a lot was because when I go to auditions now, when I walk in, people are like, you did theater, ne?
Yeah.
So I was like, I feel like theater is making it hard for me to get jobs in the TV space. I felt like I was a theater actor on camera, and those are two different things.
Skill sets, yeah.
And I felt like I couldn't let go of my theater self when I'm so involved in the theater to do TV. Then I went, but I've done enough theater.
Yeah.
If I should come back to theater, I'll come back. But I've got the t-shirt, the tattoo, everything to prove that I've been in the theater space. Now I want to transition to the cinematic space, to the camera, to these 4 walls. So I felt like I needed to let it go a little bit in order for me. And it's not the case for everybody. Please don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's just my mental process that I had to do for myself.
The skill sets are different. So I was watching an interview where Denzel Washington was promoting Gladiator.
Yes.
And he was saying, in his opinion, theater is where you do acting. And TV production, he doesn't consider it that way. Do you agree with that opinion? Is it like, I mean, in my lack of knowledge, I imagine with theater, it's big. Everything is big. It's loud. It's dramatized. Would TV production be toning it down? Why would he have that view?
I think it's because with theater, I think he meant in a sense that with theater, it's there and then.
Okay.
It's there and then.
Like on your...
You miss your line, you see how to save yourself there.
Okay.
With screen, they can always cut. They can always manipulate your performance to fit what they... You know, sometimes you can shoot a whole movie and then after the edits, you're like... the editing process they can make a script like this. And then when they get to the editing room, they decide, no, let's make the number 10 in the movie more to be the number 1. Then you see that the number 10 has more screen time than you. And they cut out your scenes. Then the narrative, obviously, because they're taking number 10 to make number 1 is now different, right? There's I forgot which movie where Abuti Fana Mokoena was shooting. It's an international movie, I think, with Brad Pitt, if I'm not mistaken. And he was supposed to play. Is it Brad Pitt? Oh, I hope I'm not getting it wrong, guys. But it was an international movie with Fana Mokoena, and he was supposed to be in all the scenes, in most scenes. I think he was there in one scene, and he was playing the main character's best friend. So you understand like how it can change. Like it just can change. But what we rehearsed in the theater and what we're going to give you that day is that. And for me, my favorite seat at the theater is the front row because I sweat with the actor. And in theater, you are going to sweat. There is no way that you are going to have the story from the beginning till the end. You will know the story from the beginning till the end. In TV, even if I just know what I'm going to say today.
And this is what he was saying also. He was saying you can practice your lines for like a movie, 100 hours on this line. And as you're perfectly delivering your line, they'll zoom into your foot. And it's like 5 seconds of your 100 hours, right? So you don't always get to see what the talent actually put in. And what you're saying is on theater, we're gonna see, right? And you have to be on your toes. You forget a line, you improvise. It's a skill set that I imagine not everybody has.
No. And you also need to be like a very healthy, active actor.
Yeah.
Because you can't lose us as the audience. We need to always be up. I always call it keep up.
Yeah.
You can see, so we used to play a game with a ball in theater where we all just like tap the ball to keep it up with our, you're only allowed to tap it once.
Yeah.
And then somebody else tap, then you can tap again, but you can't tap twice. So you have to keep that ball up. So I always say a good show is when you come in and you sit down and you feel like you didn't sit.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you're clapping your hands. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Is the show over? That's a good show.
And it's exhausting, hey? So my mom, like, growing up would take me to theater a lot. I used to love watching theater, right?
Thanks, Mom.
And if you are like, I remember, like, I don't know how many times I watched Serafina. Even when the cast changed, I keep going back, right? But a production like that where you're doing shows back to back, the amount of, like, energy you need as a cast, as an actress or an actor, and you have to be on it, the quick changes. Like, if you've done a major production, you know the chaos behind.
Yeah. I wanted to say you must think of it as a marathon. Then I realized, no, a marathon, there's a point where we just like pace ourselves.
You're moving.
And
outfit changes.
Like you need to be an athlete, like maybe a gymnast or something.
And you need to be listening backstage for when you come in and not miss stuff.
Yes.
So you having done that for close to a decade, right? Then felt, I've now graduated. I want a new challenge, and now we're seeing you, you know, in cinema and TV productions. And where do you see yourself contributing further? Like, do you ever see yourself behind the scenes, or are you in front of the camera girl?
I'm in front of the camera girl.
Do you know why I asked that? I just get the sense from you that, one, because you're so skilled and because you've been in this for so long, you come across as a growth mindset person. So I just envision you in this industry for many, many years. And I get the sense that you're going to do TV and you're going to do cinema and you're going to break out international. And I just get that sense from you.
Awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah, I love this industry. I will always be devoted to this industry. I love being on camera. And true, I would be behind the scenes. I think more because of the natural skill that I have to manage people. Like, I'm so good at making sure that people keep time.
I mean, you said that this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're still thinking we are putting together a production, sir. So I need you to gather the troops. So you've always had that, you know.
Always. Even when I was with the theater company, when we were on tour, whatever, like the night before we leave for the tour, I'd be like, okay, guys, our flight is, maybe we have a 6 a.m. flight or anything. I'd be like, I trust you all will be at the airport at 5. From the airport, this is what we're going to do. And when we get to the accommodation, this is what we're going to do. Our technical dun is at this time. Like, I'm just that girl.
Yeah.
I like to, I think it also comes with being a firstborn or something like that. I don't know. But I very much love to manage people. So I think, one day I'll be like a production manager or producer in my husband's stuff.
Ewan.
Listen.
Hey.
Watch out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah.
I see that. You know, there are people that you meet where you can tell this is where they'll be, and not because they're limited or anything, just simply because that's where they have a passion for. You come across as somebody that eventually you get either bored or curious or itchy, and you're like, okay, I've done this now. So I see the TV, but I don't know. I get the sense of
something.
Of branching. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I definitely, this 2025, I'm definitely branching into business.
Oh.
It's so funny. Something happened off camera before and you spoke about what you would have
done,
you know? And in my head, I'm like, that's actually me. That's so crazy. Because now I'm going to start like a small business that allows me to be a homemaker and a wife and a mother, because I felt like when I was shooting, for that week, I was telling you that I was not home. When I came back, I missed my baby. I missed what I used to, what I usually do when I'm at home. And I was like, oh God, I know I've been praying for years to get that lead role, to be on TV, to do all of these things. But getting that little bit of a lead role for the week made me go, wow, I miss my child. I would love to be there for every occasion that my kid goes through, you understand? So I was like, yeah. And I also want to be like a financially independent person. Independent in a sense that, I feel like I'm brought for more in this world, but not that I need to be independent.
Okay.
You understand? So it's not really, I need to make my own money because in this life you need money. Or no, it's in a sense that, I should have money.
And this is what I meant when I say you strike me as the kind of person who leans towards movement and growth. Like your energy just feels big. Actually, it feels so big, and you are. I think I said this the first time I met you. You're so gentle. You're so calm. You're down here with the rest of us, but you're big.
Yeah, true.
You're very big.
True.
And so that makes sense. Are we allowed to know what business we are going to be supporting?
Okay, let's say it has something to do with clothes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a line for clothes.
Okay.
It's a particular type of clothing. So I don't want to mention that yet.
Okay.
Until I go.
Can I wear it on the podcast?
No.
No. Because it's not appropriate for the podcast? Or, okay. I was like, Patong, you don't want me to support?
To flourish.
Okay, to flourish.
No. It's not something that you can wear.
I think I have.
And you have an idea, right? Yeah, but it's not something you can wear here. Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. I'm excited about that too, yeah.
That is an exciting venture. That's 2025.
That's 2025. I feel like it's going to give me a lot of room to because I also feel like I'm that person that makes other people better in life. I've got a lot of love to give. I've got a lot of time to give. And I feel like if I have a hectic career, it's going to take away from that.
Well, a hectic career in a particular field. Because even the business space is intense.
It's very intense, but I don't want it to be intense.
But you have, for growth, I think a little bit, but you do have the vantage point of flexibility, owning your time.
Yeah. Yes.
And you probably would do well in it because you've already, practiced life with being in a space where you have to know how to sustain yourself. Because creatives have to, you're not getting a paycheck month to month to month.
No, we had to learn that the hard way. We used to every time we have money, when a gig comes through and we have money with my person, we would move out and go, we have 6 months rent, so we're gonna move, and then after 8 months, move to So firstly, we used to stay in Western.
Yeah,
we had to move out in Western because there was no money for rent anymore. We went back home.
Okay.
2016.
Whose home did you guys go back to?
So we go back to our separate.
So you
homes.
went from keeping and having a lovely life there together, and then you went back to the rules of mom and dad,
right?
That must have been hard.
Yeah, a little bit. What was harder is not knowing when you're gonna pay rent, how you're gonna pay rent. So you'd rather go where that is not the stress, right?
But you know what I imagine to be hard? You get so comfortable and used to having your person.
Yes.
And now you're probably still doing life together, but just the day-to-day of that distance.
So let me tell you.
Or were you guys allowed?
So we were allowed. We were allowed to do sleepovers at Bonko's house.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But we were not allowed to be in the same bedroom.
So that's a huge transition.
He would sleep in his own room, and I would sleep on the floor.
Okay.
In the dining room.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they have 5 bedrooms and one waiting for Bonko's girlfriend.
Yes.
But from Wednesday till Monday, I'm with him. Okay. And then I go back to my house and then we moved in together in 2016, right? Okay. 2016 again, December of that year, we had to move back home.
This is so interesting. I think this is so helpful. Like people in your industry would know it, but people who are looking out think it's glamorous.
Yeah.
And I find that creatives never really give you a play-by-play of how do we actually sustain it. It looks like everybody's stable, but actually in the background, this is helpful to say, hey, enough. We had to go back and forth, actually. What you see for the 10 minutes on an interview, you don't know that I come from mom's house.
No.
After adulting for so long.
Yeah.
And I'm an adult in my parents' house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we had to go back to our parents. I think at that time our parents were also like sick and tired of us because like they have to keep the furniture every time, and then so they're like, if you dare move, don't bring the furniture. Both our moms, they were like, you see what you do with that stuff, but don't bring it back to our houses. And we actually didn't. And
the Dream Stream studio in Randburg is a full-service studio on Bromfisher Drive. It's perfectly suited for podcast, music recordings, and general video recordings. Backed up by an experienced editing and production team means you can walk in, record, and walk out knowing that everything will get done as you require. Our mobile gear ensures we can cover your video and live streaming needs on location too. We got the cameras, the lights, and the action to make you and your brand shine. Contact us now, studio@dreamstream.co.za, and we'll make it happen. Dreamstream, a place to create yourself.
In 2018, we saw to both ourselves that this is the last time. We do. When we move out this time, it's the last time. And it was the last time. I think besides us knowing our finances better, no. Everything also got better. There were more paychecks than there were back then. When we moved, I was in the theater company, so I had like a stable income. Bonko also had went back to school, so he was now like he had went back to do an internship, so now he was working, and he also had a stable income, and we did that for like 2 years, and then we were like, stability, 9 to 5. No, not for us. Then he resigned. Then also, I also wasn't working at the company anymore. I was working here and there, but I was not working at the company anymore. After he resigned, God made it happen that, okay, there'll be more work. And then hence we moved to Winchester, which was then our house that we eventually purchased.
Okay. So practically, is it getting financial literacy? Is it meeting with financial advisors? Is it saving? Is it paying rent in advance or the bond in advance? Like, how do you practically stay afloat as an artist?
It's both. You understand? You can save, guys, but if you don't have work for more than 6 months,
that's a long
you will
time.
use up your savings. You understand? So it's both. You need both financial literacy and you need the work to come. You understand? You can be financial literate, it doesn't matter. But if you are not working the whole year and you worked maybe in Jan and you got like, let's say, 350,000 cash to you and your rent is like 10 grand, you still need to live. You still need to go to auditions. You need to participate as a human, to family gatherings, to whatever and in life, things that need money in life. And I doubt by the end of the year you'd still have that money. You'd feel like, you know what, I'm dying, I need the money. So it's a good balance of both.
Can I ask you something though? I think people in the industry, not only acting, but in the industry in general, do you feel that there's a pressure to live beyond your means, present what is not there? So for example, celebrities per se, you'd imagine that they have more money than, and not repeat. Like, I find it not practical sometimes because when you know people, right, you realize, the things that people see on TV and how you're actually living is different. What is that? I mean, I had this conversation with a friend who is in the industry and I said to them, I think you guys make your lives harder, because we will consume what you present. If you say to me that you don't repeat outfits by virtue of every time I see you somewhere, you're not repeating an outfit, you can't turn around and then say we put pressure on you, we don't accept you for who you are, and then financially you stretched because you have to shop every time you go somewhere and you out there all the time. Do you get what I mean? Or when you get money, you have to buy this expensive car because when you peaking on the Queen, a big production, it has to match up. You know, this person also said to me, but I can't be Hopolang and drive a Picanto. I was like, why not? What do you feel like your industry requires glamour, luxury in order to fit in? Like, what is it?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Firstly, guys, when I look so cute
Yes.
with my makeup on,
Yes.
and like I have this nice outfit,
Yes.
I'm gonna get 11,000 likes.
Okay.
And then when I show up as my regular self, I'm gonna get 10 likes. Then you guys go, it's us.
But is
it's
it because
you.
how did you set up your brand to begin with? Do you think that if you set it up day to day from the get-go, you can get the likes with time and growth? Or do you feel like everybody branching out, we all need to start?
No. No, you must just look at the actors. I'll talk on actors because I know actors, so not musicians and other things. So if you look at actors who don't do that stuff, who don't, as you guys say, pressure themselves, they are okay where they are. They don't need to make the influencing money. They don't need to attract luxury brands. They don't, because they're not about it, and they are okay, as you said, with themselves like that, right? They from the onset presented themselves like that. Sure, I'm Lesego. I'm like that. Even on my stories, I'm like without makeup. I'm just that girl because I'm comfortable that
both,
way.
actually.
Yes, I'm both. I can give you luxury and
Yeah.
I can give you like girl next door vibes. Why? Because also for me, the reason why I wouldn't repeat an outfit and not like I would repeat this, like your day-to-day where I could repeat. The only thing I don't want to repeat, it would be like a red carpet look.
Right.
Why? Because I feel like if I take it at another red carpet, and when you look at the two, you like it's the same event. To me, it looks like the same events, right? Hence, I don't wear like the same dresses as I would wear. And to save money on doing that, I work with places like Bride & Co.
Right.
Bride
Where
&
you
Co, I
rent
go
out.
in, I pick up the dress, I wear it, I take it back. So I wore it once. I'll never wear it again. They have so many dresses that so it's not expensive to me. They literally just borrow me. I don't even pay to hire it. So they borrow me the dress to just post about it and show people how they would also wear it styled, right? So that's just how I would do it, right? And then when it comes to cars and whatever, the limelight introduces you to nice things.
Yeah, which we all like.
Which we all like.
We all like nice things.
We all like nice things. We like, and also people shouldn't be as in like, oh, when you see me in a Toyota Vitz, you're not gonna think I'm in an Audi, whatever.
Yeah.
No, it's like it's not that. It's just like, yo, that Audi is not. And actually, they borrowed you that Audi for like a month,
Right.
right? And you're like, yo, and now in your head your personality now is that car, and you've seen yourself. Then you're like, I can't afford that car. Then you go, let me risk it.
Of course.
And get
And
that.
just
get that car.
Yeah.
So I think it happens that way.
Okay.
For other people, it may be different. Like, I don't know what the pressure they're talking about, but I know for a fact that when you just look ordinary, they will give you 10 likes. But when you start looking like the dream, they will give you 100 likes. For me, example, on my YouTube is so chilled. My YouTube doesn't have, it's not even, I don't even say it's premium. It's just day to day of me. But it doesn't get that much traction because I'm not unboxing Louis Vuittons every day. I'm not showing this car, beautiful car, that I'm not living in a big house where I'm showing you my big house and I just bought this big house. I'm doing the interior and buying things like nobody's business. So we're in a very consumer driven season.
Maybe I'm naive, nah? Because if I think even like this podcast, Blooming Butterfly, if you ask me conceptually why even the word blooming, I really believe in the consumer is me, right? I will buy the unboxing and buy into that world. I have the control. I feel like there's so many, and now I'm coming even from a psychological point of view.
Yeah.
So many of my clients are under pressure that are in that industry, in that space. Because, and for me, at some point, I'm like, don't. If we all like changed it and like the stories like here where you are being so real, whoever's gonna watch this, I'm hoping that they see you don't need to pressure yourself into something versus growing with yourself and your purpose and your journey and bloom. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if you're not there yet, starting out in the industry, be comfortable with that. And then take a calculated risk. Because how you're talking about it is then I want my Beamer. You know what I mean? But before I get to my Beamer, I must be comfortable with whatever it is that I can afford, even if I'm in this industry. Because also it teaches all of us, even the consumer, that there's pacing yourself through life. Nobody starts off just like that. And also this consumerism thing where the real life that every human being is actually living gets 11 likes. I have a big problem with that. Because you guys are very anxious actually behind the scenes. You're very depressed behind the scenes. So you know what I mean? It's like this continued cycle of toxicity that I'm like, but it's when we say society and them and the subscribe, it's us. You get what I mean? Like, you're not gonna like my YouTube channel because I'm not styled in. Yes. But actually, the stories you're listening to here is the life you're living.
Yes.
How does that make sense? Help me balance. Do you get what I mean?
No, you know what? How we got there? Guys, please forgive me. It's not gonna be like a popular opinion, but vision boards.
Okay.
People like to watch their vision boards now.
Got you.
They don't make them at home. They just watch them and inhale them and manifest them, right?
Okay.
So if you would like to see yourself young, married, with a kid and driving a freaking Mercedes-Benz, living in a house like that, of course you're going to watch Matapelos who's living that life.
But what does it take? Do you take the interest in what it took for Matapelo to be?
No,
you know
because
what I mean?
I put it in my
vision board.
Yes, no, I put it in my. It's gonna happen.
Like for you and Bonko, for example, I think you guys are the couple that in South Africa a lot of people ooh la la towards, right? What you've described today is not what everybody would do, because I guarantee you now, very few people are dating from that age up to the ages that you guys are in and are making it through moving back and not. And she can't afford to buy me these sneakers and he can't afford to buy me these. Do you understand?
He says I'm asleep on the floor.
Do you understand? The sacrifices. We're seeing the now of, oh my God, they love each other so much. Oh, they've been together, blah, blah, blah. But girl, are you going to do that? Because many of you will say, no, he must come made. So your vision board, I'm a firm believer in vision boards. I have vision boards, right? But you need to go behind the scenes of that vision board. How did that entrepreneur, how did that actor, whatever your vision board, how did that travel happen? You know? And I think that the people who are then successful and have made it and have journeyed, I don't know if responsibility is the right word, but I think there is something required in telling the stories of, I got the jet, I got the Beamer, but this is what I had to do.
No, true. Because, I made my first vision board maybe in 2018, and none of those things came true. And I did not work to make those things come true. But I tore it up and said, they wouldn't work. That thing does not work.
Yeah.
In my head, when they said vision boards, they're like, if you see it every day
and you manifest
and you look at it and you manifest it, it's going to happen. It never happened for me. I just let it go. I just now write my goals, my plans, and how I'm going to reach those goals. That's it. The cutting out of the Mercedes Benz and putting it there and saying I'm the queen of everything did not work for me.
Because you had to do the work for it to work.
For
it's one
it
thing to
to
have
work.
the picture.
Yeah.
Got you. Got you. Okay. Let me stop debating before they unsubscribe and not like because maybe I'm getting too personal. You're a mom.
Yes.
And I saw your recent post. You are in the terrible twos, but starting at 1 year old. The things that they don't tell us. Ne?
No.
And she's very active and unana.
Yo, I went to a party with that kid,
Yeah.
okay? A 1 year old party with that kid. Every parent was sitting, watching me run behind that child. I was like, guys, most of us there had 1 year olds.
So she's in her curious.
Dude, I'm like, I don't get how yours is not behaving like this one.
I get it. She comes from a household of curiosity.
True.
I don't call it naughty. I call it vibrant,
Definitely.
curious. She's curious, it sounds
She's
like.
very curious.
Yeah.
And she loves having a good time.
Yeah.
She, at that age, she opens the circle for the family and she's the kid that dances.
Oh, wow.
I swear. And she's serious about, she loves their attention. She loves her dad. She flourishes when her dad is around.
Yeah. That's her person.
Listen, that's her person. She doesn't need anyone else there. But she's such a clever kid, man. Monkey see, monkey do. So everything that she sees us doing, she definitely does 10 times more than us. So she's a perfect combination of both of us, which is crazy. I can't wait to see it grow.
And you've expressed that you really enjoying motherhood. You're loving it. And we see it, the vlogs. I really enjoy that content.
Thank you.
And you recently started swimming lessons and driving independently, right?
Drove here.
You drove here?
I drove
There you go. And you said that part of it came from motherhood.
Yes.
What kicked in for you? I think different things kick in for women when they when they become mothers,
When they become mothers,
for you, what was that said, okay, I want to face my fears?
Yeah. So what happened was, growing up, in order for me to be a mother, I had to be married.
Okay.
I have to know how to drive so I can drive my baby around.
Okay.
I needed to know how to swim, and I also needed to know how to ride a bike.
This was something you were told, or this is something you envisioned?
No. This is something I envisioned
myself
for myself.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I saw myself as a mom who always takes their kids on holiday and does all the things that we will do on holiday.
Because who was that? Who did you see that from?
Shush. No one.
No one?
Yeah, no
It just came?
It just came.
Okay.
No one. I'd say not in this way, but like my mom, I'd say my mom is a little bit like that. I'd say my mom, because my mom graduated when I was like 6 years old or something like that. So my mom, when
That's inspirational.
when my mom got lobolad, my mom came from nothing. So when she got lobolad, she took her lobola money and went to go register.
A clever girly. It didn't go to other places.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah, she went to go register at Vista, which Vista is now called UJ in Soweto.
Yes.
The UJ campus in Soweto, it was called Vista.
Yeah.
My mom went to go register with her lobola money.
Her family allowed her to use her lobola money that is usually used towards the wedding and cultural stuff and said, we're going to invest in our child's education.
I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah. And my mom went to go study. I was at my mom's graduation.
You were invited.
I was there, So I think growing up, I had a lot, like that was the biggest story of my mom, how she went for her education and like went, so I think I guess when you're like, who did you say? I'm thinking it stems from there.
Yeah.
From her.
Okay.
So then she was just a go-getter.
Yeah.
So that's how I wanted to be a go-getter for my kid, because like I realized there's a movie, it's a baby movie. I was like, wow, I feel like it's an adult movie, and I'm watching it the other day. Is it all in, or the one with the emotion? Inside Out.
Inside Out.
With the emotion.
Love
Dude,
it.
the two, the first one I see, the second one where anxiety comes in. I was like, oh my word, that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
And I was so happy for that movie, because I was like, yo, anxiety, you can take over everything. And that's what it did with me. And when my baby came, the plan was to get rid of it. And to get rid of it, I needed to drive, because anxiety was stopping me from driving, right?
Did you ever have a bad experience with driving and swimming?
So with swimming, yes, because I've once almost drowned as a kid, so I was like, no. And then all my sisters could swim, and I was like, guys, sorry, I know that feeling of that thing, so I'm not doing it. So then I was pretty much scared of water, so I needed to go and learn. And I've tried to learn a few years ago, just didn't happen. But now it was just like, what if it's your kid in the pool and she needs you?
There you go.
Then I was like, yeah.
There you go.
That's what I need.
Because I think motherhood can kick in that instinct of needing to keep somebody alive.
Yeah.
Right? So you almost feel like you don't have a choice.
Yes.
But to go for it. Somebody, a colleague a few weeks ago was asking me, how is it that I describe my life to have elevated after motherhood or parenthood when kids take so much from you? And I kept saying to her, I feel like I've actually shifted for the better. I definitely am more confident. And I can't explain it. Like, even with the body changes, I love my body more with what socially would not be appealing than I did before having a child.
Yes.
The bravery kicks in. Because if you have to keep a child alive, I don't care what age. I mean, in my 30s, my mom, I feel like, still has to keep me alive in some capacity. You know what I mean? You don't have a choice. That thought of, what if it is my kid?
Dude, it's also like that notion of when you have nothing else to do but do the thing, you will do it.
Yeah.
I swear.
Yeah.
You can say, I don't like to run, but
You
that day
run.
when that dog is chasing you, you will run.
Yeah.
You can say, I don't like, that day when it's driving, that day when it's an emergency, you will get in that car and you will drive that car.
Right.
So motherhood also gives you that. When you have nothing else but this kid, you're gonna do.
You rolled your eyes at the comment where and I think it's a common view, and I think there's fairness in it, and people have different experiences where some people feel like kids take away from you.
Yeah.
What is your view?
Dude, like, I don't like that. I think I grew up in a home where it was challenging for my mom. So my mom just, I don't know, resented us for a little bit. Like, if we do something, she'd be like, you see why I say you mustn't have kids.
Right.
So I stayed with that notion in my head of like, kids just get you in the place that you don't want to be. You understand? And I could see in my mom's eyes sometimes that, my mom could have achieved so many things if she wasn't pregnant with me, right? So when I needed to have a child, I needed to make sure that I'm ready. Right. So that I don't feel like my child took anything away from me. Right. I like to say every time when they interview me about my motherhood and stuff, I'm like, I used to have small boobs that never needed a bra.
Right.
Like, I never needed a bra. Like, I would just walk around with my titties.
Yeah.
And now I have these big titties that actually need a bra. And these titties touch my skin.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I was like, the F is that? And I'm like, oh, it's actually the boobs. And and I'm like, oh, okay. And because I was ready to have this child, and I had this child in my 30s, in my head, I'm like, I had 20 years, almost 30 years to live with those nice boobs. I'm okay with them. I don't need them anymore. You understand? So for me, it's like, when you're not ready, you will feel like that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be like, oh, but I still have this banging body that I need to take out to the world to see.
Yeah. It's glamorized. It's not the cute baby in the car seat. And, you actually need to take in consideration um, the sacrifices and the shifts that will and have to happen.
Yes, and they will, and they
Yeah.
have to happen.
Yeah.
So hence, for me, I don't know if this would be an unpopular opinion, but please, like, don't have kids when you're not ready, and don't have kids out of wedlock, and don't have kids with someone who's not ready to have kids, because it doesn't matter whether you're in lock or in wedlock or not in wedlock. If that person is not ready to have kids,
they are married single parents.
They are married single parents. So go in when you like look at each other and you go, because in our relationship there was a time where I felt ready, but I know my husband was not ready.
How did you know you were ready? What did readiness mean for you? I think it means different things for different people. For you, what did it mean?
My mental state was ready.
Okay.
I felt like my physical body was also ready.
Okay.
Like all I could think of, even when I'm in church, all I could pray about is a child. And all I could think about is like, when they say you are broody, like a hectic broodiness, like broody. Like I would love to have a child now. And I'd never voiced this to my husband. I would say like, oh, what if we had a kid? But not in a serious conversation, because I could sense, look, we know each other. I could sense that, he's not there. The day he is ready, he will tell me. And God...
What wasn't ready in him, do you feel, at the time?
I think at the time my husband just his career just broke out. A lot of things were happening in his life, and I felt like, and I needed to introspect if like I want to have a child because there's nothing happening in my life.
Got you.
Or I want to have a child because I genuinely want to have a child now. I don't like peer pressure. I don't like doing things because other people did it, and
That's very important.
I want to do it when I want to do it.
Very important. The level of consideration on your part, even though you wanted something and felt ready for it, the level of patience. It's such a thoughtful decision. I mean, even when he was here, he said you guys planned your child. But now I'm getting a different perspective from you, how you contributed to then having what we see now as a conducive environment for a child to be in. Just because you're ready doesn't mean it's time.
No.
Just because you want it doesn't mean it's time.
No.
And the level of trust that you and Bonko have built in friendshipping for a long time and doing life for over a decade before marriage, before a child, I imagine as a woman, also when you say don't have a child with somebody who doesn't want to be a father, you got to a level of trust that I can rely on you. Because the way he fathers so naturally, part of it is building trust together, relying, giving him space to be an individual, giving you space to be an individual. And then when you guys are ready as a partnership going into this thing, what have been the high highs and the low lows of motherhood for you?
The high highs of motherhood have been that I'm happy to be a mother.
Okay.
That I'm so happy to be a mother. The low lows for me, I'd say, is that, hey, there's no low, man.
Okay.
There's no low.
Okay.
I enjoy being a mother. The only thing was that what was different for me is that, that feeling you get excited for that every woman tells you about, like how you fall in love at first sight. For me, did not happen. Like she was a stranger to me, for a week or so or something. And like I slowly grew. It slowly grew. The love slowly just went, it wasn't like,
because it's not like that for every woman.
Yeah, and I was scared to even say, because I was like, where's the feeling? Like, the whole time I was like, although I'm so glad that it didn't make me depressed or cause postpartum or whatever. I'm a person who I choose my battles, and I don't want things that have nothing to do with me make me feel bad or sad.
Okay.
If it has something to do with me and I have control over it, then maybe. But if it has nothing to do with me and I do not have control over it, I don't want to stress about it.
You have a life drive. Do you know what? Me and you can sit here. We've been here for over an hour. and I still have things. It means you're coming back in season 3.
Oh, yeah.
And by then you'll have the label, the clothing label, and then we're gonna talk more about that.
Yes, please.
But can we do the tradition here at home?
Yes, please.
Where, I'm gonna ask you to close your eyes and tune in to your 5 senses. Take a deep breath and just listen to the sound of my voice, see the images in your eyes, tune into what's happening inside your body, and think for 30 seconds out loud with us. And think blooming butterfly, Lesego Khoza. What is next for you?
Oh, what is next for me is business, education. Education. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Business and education.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I speak life into that.
Thank you.
I cannot wait to see how that comes to be. Thank you so much, Lesego.
Thank you.
You are such a gracious and big soul. Your energy is very big. If I could translate it into, and it will. I think this episode will translate.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed myself, guys. It's nice to be here.
Well, guys, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.